What is going on, everyone, and welcome to Kart 63. My name is Ben. Thank you very much for stopping by. Real quick, just real quick. If you didn't mind hitting a like on this video, possibly subscribe to the channel if you like this type of content. Thank you all to 22,000 subscribers I have now. It blows my mind every time I open up my my YouTube app. I can't thank you enough. I wanted to get that. I usually do the thank you at the end of the video, or I try and do the thank you at the bottom. But thank you all right now. Kart 63 is brought to you by Track Tack Tire Treatments, Burris Racing Tires, BeardOctane.com, 5-3 Titanium, and JC Specialties, which you can get a lot of these products at. Not the Beard Octane, though. I think I've said that before, but this is... I wish JC was your one-stop shop for everything. Maybe I could order some Beard Octane. It's just not their thing. Anyway, so this video idea was given to me a while ago. Last name, Clawitter. I can't pronounce it. I feel bad. It's a person from PA. I've met them. They're friends of friends. Anyway, they asked me if I could do a safety video, a kart safety video. So I came up with a safety check. Now, as some of you know, I am currently rebuilding my UAS ride. I'm going to race asphalt in a couple weeks here. No, next week. Anyway, I transferred chassis. I went from the Recon. The Recon was the clone, and now the Recon's going to be the UAS Open, and now the Scythe is the clone. So I've been transferring everything over. I've been building up the UAS ride, and I thought no better time than now, because I know I'm missing a couple things. I just haven't gotten to it yet. It's been a slow type of build. I've been doing other stuff, but I thought I could go over, when you're going through safety tech, the basics they're looking for. I'm going to point those out. But what I think, especially from a UAS ride, as soon as you put more horsepower on your kart, I think your mind frame has to go into super safety mode. And I don't want to hear this crap. Oh, we might as well race and punch. Listen, nobody should put their life on the line for something as simple as something to do with safety. There's no call for it. There are certain things like wolf plates that people are like, oh, that's stupid. Mine's never broke. Well, it could. And it could saw into you, and bad stuff could happen. Safety is necessary for a reason. There is no reason other than you being lazy for you not to do some of this stuff. So, like I said, I'm gonna kind of point out, when you're going through, even if if it's just, when you're going through clone tech, basic things they're looking for. Just basic stuff, but something UAS-wise I like to see a little more of. I'm sure that there very well might be something that you point out, hey, you should probably do this, and I'm all for it. If you can find something when we're walking around my kart here, and I'm pointing out the things that should be safety concerns, I'm all for you addressing that. Let me know. Should I be taking a better look at this? Let the people in the comments go ahead and look at the comments. If there are people that bring up points, hey man, you might want to look into this. Hey man, you might want to look into that. I'm here for it. But we're gonna dive down real quick. We're gonna look at the kart. You can go ooh at all the horsepower if you're a clone guy or a predator guy or something, and know this is a methanol breathing dragon of an engine, a Bama 270cc. They are cool. They're as much as the clone stuff is fun, it's the Bama is funner. It's way more fun than I like the clone stuff. Don't get me wrong, but also it's like 70 horsepower on that thing. It's a riot. Anyway, we're gonna dive down below. We're gonna. The shop's a mess, so if you catch that in the background, I'm sorry. I've been doing stuff, and we'll take a peek here. Okay, everybody. Maybe I will start with, this is my UAS ride. This is the 2016. I always thought it was a 17. It is not a 17. It is a 16 Phantom Recon. So I think first and foremost, for those of you who are basically here for the clone and predator side of things, when you're going through tech, I'm not quite sure if anything has to go on with braking. as far as pinning and stuff, I will mention this. In UAS, it is a rule not only that you have to run a thicker rear rotor for way more horsepower, you have to at least safety pin a couple of your bolts to make sure that this cannot come apart. Also, I believe this to be a clone thing, that the bolts to your caliper need to be safety pinned as well. So there's definitely something that goes in between UAS and the flat carts, if you want to call them that. But definitely I want to make you pay attention. Those of you who are running UAS or decided to go to UAS, do not run a thin brake rotor. I was going to show you my other one that's sitting over there. Do not run a thin brake rotor. I don't, who needs a brake? You're just using the loud pedal. Don't do that. This thing accelerates really, really hard. And you need more whoa for more go. That is, there is no excuse not to be running something like the C High Performance. Oh shoot, I will think of his name. I feel bad. Mac Caylor. He is doing a oversized UAS rotor. I think it's Mac Kaylor's Kart Parts. If I can find the link, I'll put it in the description. He also makes a oversized brake rotor for UAS applications. All right, so we're going to walk around here, and just the basics. You should always have your safety on the end of your axles. This doesn't allow the hub, God forbid that your hub come a little free. This is going to stop it. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, but it's going to at least, make it so the hub just can't slide completely off the rear axle. If you had moved your hub or something, it wasn't tight enough, it's going to stop that from happening. Can it bypass that with enough force? Of course it can. Now, one of the things that also you might want to consider if you're a UAS guy, I used to do this a lot. I don't so much anymore. I really haven't had a problem. It's probably something I shouldn't overlook, but you can wire these two holes together, just an added bit of security there, so they don't go flying off. So that is something that is definitely a flat cart type of inspection thing. We're also going to come into here. Now I do have it in. You're always going to want your safety pin on your front axle. This keeps the castle nut from backing off. It keeps the wheel from coming off. Absolutely going to be a point of check. They're going to reach in here. They're going to make sure that safety pin is in there. You're good to go. They're going to look at things like this. I do not have these in yet. I was in the midst of getting. These are always pinned. Also, your steering components. I still have to make adjustments on this chassis, so I have not put them in yet. But right here is always a good idea if you're doing this at all, to keep them with the cart, to keep them in position. Just go ahead and run a lanyard with your safety pins there, and those go the top and bottom. I'll go right down here. We'll take a peek if you're curious where that other one goes. It goes right there. Okay. Bottom of the L block. Pin those from coming undone. Basically think anything steering component, anything brake wise. They're going to check here. Here's steering. You're going to want to pin that. Also, down here, anything that has a castle nut, you want to make sure that everything has a safety pin on it. Now, we'll go back to a little bit of UAS stuff. This, obviously, is going to be a point in whether it's flat cart or whether it's whether it's UAS, but also add in that being this is UAS, being this is a special type of wheel, I have these pinned as well. All components for my steering, there's no way without resistance that these bolts or nuts can come undone. So I would just consider that when you're talking about your flat cart, anything steering component wise. Right here, here's another missing one. Like I said, I'm just building this. I was just, hey, it's a good time to point this stuff out. This is definitely stuff I know about. It's definitely stuff I'm going to do. Real quick here, I think down on the down on the steering side of things, I did not cover this. Your high ends need to be pinned. Even though this is a nylock, that's great. It's fantastic. Awesome. Probably not going to come undone. This assures that it is not coming undone. Now, some people don't like using these because they do rattle, and when the cart vibrates, they go wah and all that. Sometimes you're going to want to use the other style, but these are also easy to take on and off, so I have a tendency to use those. Safety, UAS-wise, we like big Nerf bars. These happen to be, this plate was welded on because it was a very, very much smaller driver that I got this chassis from. So he could bolt weight there to get more left side. But don't make these chintzy. You know, as is, Nerf bars in general are not all that made for impact, stuff like that. I think it's better to err on the side of safety. It's better to err on the side of boldness type of deal to protect yourself. I mean, there's very little between the driver who is sitting here and an incoming cart. This you know, if there's more meat here, chances are you're going to be a little better protected. Engine side, there's nothing really crazy. A whole bunch of zip ties. Make sure that your fuel lines, this is a return line from my pump. Make sure everything is secured down with zip ties. You don't want anything dragging. You don't want anything, rubbing the ground, coming disconnected or anything. There's a kill switch down in here. You don't want that kind of flopping around or anything like that. Engine-wise, there's so many, especially UAS, there's so many points or different engine packages. It would be hard for me to say, safety-wise, this is what I got going on. I mean, I got 4 springs on my exhaust. Make sure that doesn't come off. I got this. Oh, I wanted to point this out. So, I don't have them on right now. I will put them on before I go racing. I do like to tether with some safety wire or something else, some cable, the bumper to the frame, just to make sure that the rear bumper doesn't, make an exit. I think that's, and especially UAS, it's nice to protect things. We are super fast. The closing rate is super fast. Definitely something to consider. The Speedway bumpers they are what they are. I have a Speedway bumper on my clone cart, but for UAS, I like a bigger bumper. I like something that's going to protect my tires. Like I said, the incoming rate on these things is crazy. If somebody has a problem, you're on top of them. UAS-wise, gear guard, chain guard is absolutely necessary. Hey, Ben, that doesn't really cover that. Here's where I sit. This absolutely covers me. It keeps any deflection coming this way. I've heard horror stories of chain rash, especially running this kind of power with a 35 chain. And yes, I run 35 chain. I know people have, hey, why don't you run 428? Why don't you run 520? Gear selection. Honestly, when you're running a 2-stroke, the belt takes a lot of that out of it. It takes a lot of the WAP out of it, so you're not as subject to breaking a chain. So definitely, this is in the UAS rulebook, you should have a chain guard. This is just some plastic I made up. It's pretty cool. there's a couple bolts right here. This bolt and this bolt. I take these bolts off, and this plate comes off. The plate that I have bolted to the seat remains there. I can take it off, do what I want with the gearing, put it back down when I'm done. Wolf plate. I've seen people bolt a piece of tin here. Some rules have that you must run a wolf plate. I know this is big and thick. Brake rotor. I should have mentioned this when I was back here before. Run a wolf plate. This is only fiberglass. If you're in a wreck, you don't want your holes being punched out, and then for you end up back down here. And if you're running anything thinner than this, even if this wasn't here, this could cut through this and get into you. No problem. We're going way too fast. The rear axle spinning way too fast. Run a wolf plate. It's not that heavy. Safety above all. Seriously. come up front here. It's because I'm haphazardly doing everything. Everything should have pins in it. Everything steering components. Everything throttle components, brake components. Everything should have safety on it. Just over here, I showed you the other side, but right there, a lanyard keeps that stuff together. Obviously, your kingpins, this is stuff that on a flat cart they're going to be looking for. They're going to be looking for anytime there's a hole through a bolt that is meant for safety. They are looking for this to be there. If that is not there, they are either going to fail you in tech. They're going to say, hey man, if I come around later, that better be there. And I've had that done before. I've had people wander around, hey, you're only missing one thing. Please put that in there. And then later on the day, they came by and they went, good job. You put it in there. That's the safe way. Anything up here, bolts I highly recommend going to, you can use quality bolts. Fantastic. Nylox are the way to go. If you're running anything that you fear might come loose but isn't like a brake or a steering component type thing, Nylox nuts are where it's at. They just keep things from falling apart on you. Here's another shot of the Nerf bar. If you're curious how the C high performance nose is held up. This keeps this so this doesn't bind the chassis at all. Over here, like I said, the other side, I thought I didn't have a safety pin in there. I do. This side, I do not. I'm going to be making it this. There's my scales. This thing's going on the scales pretty soon here. So I have to check toe and all sorts of stuff. So I just haven't put it in it. I plan on putting it in, and honestly, I can come back and I can reference this video if I'm not. But here is my UAS engine. That is a Bama 270cc version with the power valve system on it. I was talking with Chris C a little bit, and I believe this one doesn't have it, does it? All right, when Walt and I first had this built, it said Curtis Taft on this plate. I don't know if I still have the plate or not, or if I sold the other engine that had that on there, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Walt and I and then Tom Spannell were the first people to have a power valve version of the Bama. I could be wrong, but that's, as I recall it, that's a thing. So safety-wise, also, if you're running UAS, it is a great idea to have a kill switch. These things, I can assure you, you do not want to get zapped by that thing. That coil is putting out a lot of juice. So if you have the ability to have a kill switch, you don't, plus you also run the risk of destroying your electronics if you pull the spark plug. I'll do it in a pinch if I have to, if the engine's run away and this doesn't work, but safety issue, especially UAS, run a kill switch. It's just so much better to boop. And this is a dead switch. Now, there are people that run flip switches, which are fine. Either or can fail, in my opinion. But a dead switch to where there's no connection, no connection. If you have a toggle switch, and especially if you say you flip it up in order for it to actuate, that has the ability during all the vibration to, and then that could shut your engine off. So I've always, as kill switches are concerned, it's always been my point to always run a dead switch, which is just a push button. There's no connection to ground. Push it, connects to ground, kills the engine. That type of thing. But again, just neat and tidy. Keep everything zip tied. This is my power valve switch. And this is a standard switch, but it's not a toggle. A little more flush mount, and this lights up when I actuate it. But even this, I don't have it toggled the other way. So it can't, this is on, and it would have to do some funny stuff in order to, deny gravity and go up there. But there, I guess that's basically it. Bolt-wise, seats and stuff like that. I like to run my seats a little looser, just so they're not impeding the chassis. But then again, I'll mention, these are Nylox bolts. I do have them on the Nylox. Stuff like that. Just pay attention to safety. Make sure everything's tight. Make sure that your tank's tight. Make sure just take the time to make sure that anything that you can, just a once over, just make sure, hey, could this go wrong? Could that go wrong? You're going to save yourself a lot of pain and agony, of defeat, of your kart failing you on track if you just pay attention to the little things, and safety is definitely one of those little things. Okay, there you go. There is my safety concerns and things that you should be on the lookout for. Don't look at safety as a bad thing. I get it. I get it that it's a pain to do, but it could be for your protection. It is for your protection. There's a reason we want things double nutted. There's a reason why we want things, a safety pinned. There is a reason why certain components of the car are standalones for safety. I have a story. I was racing at Paradise Speedway. I've mentioned it, a whole bunch of times. It's a big quarter mile. When I'm talking quarter mile in New York, we're talking about the inside circumference is a quarter mile. That means the racing line is about 3/8 of a mile. I saw almost 80 mile an hour in the open. Big sweeping turns. Maybe it's not as fast as something down south because we don't have the grip. Big wide track, 55 mile an hour in the center of the corner. Anyway, my old buddy Timmy, never pinned his nut, the castle nut on his steering. 131, Buller sedan, wide open, entering 3. Off his steering wheel came and out into the outside berm he went. Luckily, when he crashed, when he hit, he did not impale himself with the steering column, with the steering shaft. God was on his side that day. That very could have happened, and he was just thankful to be alive, that everything. Even a sedan, he was easily doing 70, 75 mile an hour, easily hitting the outside berm, no control whatsoever. Boom, that was it. I don't think it totaled his car, but it could have totaled him. There are things that you should be paying attention to, and don't give me the foofy, like I said in the beginning. Do not give me that bubble wrap crap. There is no need for that. Always err on the side of safety. Always. It is not that much extra time to pay attention to stuff like that to make sure you're as safe as possible. Racing is already a super dangerous sport. We are going way too fast in little skateboards with rockets strapped to them. Let's not exacerbate it. Let's not make it worse than it has to be. You can still be a safety-conscious person and still be a absolute rocket and be up front and be fast and all that. That doesn't take away from speed. It just takes a little more of your time to pay attention to the details to make sure you yourself or your driver, if you're the crew chief doing all this stuff, is actually doing the stuff to make sure everything is as safe as possible. I am not sitting on a soapbox. I've made mistakes. I've missed stuff. I believe I found that I didn't have a safety pin in one of my steering components on the clone. I just happened to notice it. It had fallen out. I didn't put it back in. I don't know. I didn't have a safety check. Whatever it was, not every Saturday night race is going to have safety tech. It wasn't in there. That could have went very bad. Now, it was a nylon lock nut. It ended up being okay. It wasn't okay by me. I shouldn't have missed it. I should have seen that. I should have been paying more attention. And that reminded me of the video that was suggested to me that I should be doing this and addressing it. It's probably not going to be one of the most popular videos that I do. I don't care. I make these videos for myself as much as I make them for you. If I find it interesting, if I find it important, I feel the need to make the video, to put it out there, and maybe it saves somebody from making a horrible mistake. Maybe it makes somebody think about going in and checking their safety measures. Have they gone far enough? Are they doing, what is required per, like WKA, NKA, AKR rules? Now, I don't have those rules per se. I'm just saying what I've seen them check is basic stuff. It's the steering components. It's the brake components. Just, the ring or the safety on the end of the axle, stuff like that. Real simple stuff. There's no reason not to miss it, but you can go a little further if you need be. So there you go, guys. That is my that is my safety video for this week. I wondered how this would go. I thought it went pretty good. I think it went pretty good. I hope there was some valuable information. It isn't always to teach you something. Sometimes it is to get the mind working. Am I paying attention to this? Am I thinking about this? Am I only looking at this way or another? And, I think that promotes really good things. The ideas, start to come to other people too. So, Kart 63, yes, this is Kart 63. It is brought to you by Track Tech Tire Treatments, Burris Racing Tires, BeardOctane.com, 5.3 Titanium, and JC Specialties. Thank you all to the sponsors of this channel. Please, if you see fit, patronize those sponsors of mine. They don't know, they're sponsor of mine, but you don't get a discount code. That'd be cool. If I had a discount code like Kart63 for 10% off something, that'd be awesome. That's not a thing. Anyway, it is a thing with Beard Octane though. Ben 10, that'll give you 10% off. Anyway, thank you very much to the sponsors of this channel. Any help helps. I am a racer first and foremost. I do videos secondary. The sponsorships help me race, help me make videos, help the whole thing kind of come together. So thank you very much to the channel sponsors. I will see you Thursday. No snags this last Thursday on Dirt Kart Racer Live. We sat out here for an hour. I told the wife I had to be off, and I said I was only going to be on an hour, and I looked at the thing, and as soon as it was an hour, I was like, guys, I gotta go, because I will continue to ramble if you keep on kind of interfacing with me. I will do the talkings. I'm one who is quick with the tongue, with the opinion. I'm on it. Anyway, I will see you Thursday, and then next week on Sunday morning, as always, for a brand new video here on Kart 63. Thank you for stopping by. I'll see you guys later. Later.